Sorry, Muhammad, for jumping in. You are muted. Please unmute yourself, and if you can start again.
Okay, sorry. السلام عليكم. مرحبا بكم في اليوم الثاني من ال SdNOG-7 اللي هو يوم 4 نوفمبر. طيب هنبدأ إن شاء الله اليوم الثاني في التوبيك حيكون عن الميجرمنتس وأدوات القياس في الشبكات أو عشان تقيم طبعا الايفالويشن للشبكة، وهي واحدة من التولز المهمة شديد مقدمة من رايب NCC، حتستخدم فيها التول رايب أطلس. ال SdNOG-7 زي ما انتم عارفين من السيشن الاولاني هو سبونسرد باي البلاتفورمز والانظمه دي، هي سبونسرد باي الافرينيك والايونكس، نحن نشكرهم شكر كبير. طيب التوتوريال بتاع اليوم ان شاء الله حيكون ستريمد، هو اوريدي ستريمد الان في اليوتيوب شانل، ممكن تبحث عنها ب SdNOG هي already started يعني. طيب معلومات أساسية عن السيشن. أول حاجة خلي المايك بتاعك always muted، يكون مغلق طوالي، وإذا عندك أي سؤال أرسل لنا في الQ&A section، هتلقى في الزوم ايكون بتاعت Q&A، ممكن تسأل في الحتة دي. بإمكانك تسأل باللغة العربية أو بالإنجليزية على ال Q&A في الزوم، أو للناس اللي بيشاهدونا على اليوتيوب برضو ممكن يرسلوا أسئلتهم على اليوتيوب أو على الميلينج ليست يعني حتى يعني. طيب برضو ما ننسى نشترك في الميلينج ليست تحت SdNOG حتى تقدر تصلك الاناونسمنت للحياة الجديدة، أو أنت مثلا إذا كان عندك سؤال أو أي حاجة متعلقة به الحياة الريليتد للSdNOG. طيب بالنسبة للناس اللي عايزين يرسلوا لنا صورهم بإمكانهم يستخدموا الهاشتاج virtual_SdNOG-7، ونحن هنقدر نصل لها إن شاء الله في السوشيال ميديا. طيب المشاركة بتاعت البارتيسيبانتس في السيشن دي حيكون فيها جيفتس، هي هتكون بيست على المشاركة بتاعت البارتيسيبانت، فحيكون في مراقبة للأداء بتاع البارتيسيبانت في الكويشن اند انسرز والشات، واز ويل في الانسر الكويشن اند انسرز برضه في اليوتيوب. طيب برضه حيكون عندنا سيرفي. السيرفي مهم جدا بالنسبة لنا عشان نقدر نعمل تقييم للأداء بتاع الورك شوب، ويعني تعمل انهانسمنت نحسن بها الأداء في الورشة. فحيكون في سيرفي URL حيرسل لك إن شاء الله في الشات، ونتمنى إنكم تملوه كلكم يعني. برضو في السيشن دي حتكون من 2 parts، من 2 sessions يعني مكونة من جزء أول وجزء ثاني، بيناتهم حيكون في 10 دقائق بريك، أنت ممكن تعمل فيها أي حاجة أو تاخذ فيها صور أو تعمل فيها أي نوع من الأكتيفيتيز يعني. طيب السيشن دي مقدمة بواسطة حيقدمها لنا الفارو من رايب NCC ومن اسبين، وناتالي اللي برضه من رايب NCC، والكسندرا وهي ساشا اللي هي معانا هسه حاليا حتقدم لنا ان شاء الله السيشن دي. Sasha, you can share your screen.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Is it morning or afternoon?
Yes,
it's afternoon. Okay,
yeah.
Let me share my screen and get started. Sorry, you see you, because I have my slide back here. Here it is. So good morning, everybody. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
And the presentation is okay. So good afternoon. Once again, my name is Alexandra. I'm the technical training with the RIPE NCC, and I'm gonna be one of the trainers who is delivering this workshop or training. We usually call it training. So I hope you know that in the world we have 5 regional internet registries. We have the RIPE NCC in Europe, Middle East, and parts of Asia. We have APNIC, we have ARIN, LACNIC, and AFRONIC. And your country is in AFRONIC region, service region. But we are streaming this webinar from Amsterdam. We are in the RIPE region, service region, so it's RIPE NCC service region. So I'm working for the RIPE NCC. And we are going to talk about this really fantastic project of the RIPE NCC, which is called RIPE Atlas. RIPE is because it was founded in our region, but it's free, kind of free, and available for everybody around the world. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, how good or bad your internet connection, we don't care. The only we care is that you are somebody and you are connected to the internet. That's it. And you can both be part of that and use it. And a couple of O's of housekeeping details. My English is not my first language. I'm originally from Ukraine. So please feel free to tell me type in something in the chat. If you, for example, want to talk me slower or faster or something. Hello, somebody said hello. I see your chat on my second screen. So let's get started. We have this slide pack on my screen. Also, sometimes I'll be doing some demo in my web browser. And for that, I will switch to my web browser. That's why I'm sharing my desktop, not the app. So let's get started. As I said, RIPE Atlas, it's a huge project and everybody can be part of that. Basically here on the screen, you see the map of the world with all the dots. Actually, they're a big, exaggerated because those probes and the parts of the Atlas system, they're really tiny thingies. But here we have huge dots. But anyway, you see that almost like all of the world is covered. Actually, it's a bit old map. Now we have even more. And some dots are green, some are red, and some are yellow. And we are going to talk about how to become one of those dots and how to use all the rest of the dots which are connected to the internet. But please tell me, how much experience do you have with the RIPE Atlas? Have you heard about it before? So here we have this poll, and please type in the chat window A for none, B for I have a probe, C, I have created a measurement before, or D, I use RIPE Atlas regularly, like every day. And I think Mohammed promised something, has said something about gifts. I know, some handouts. Sorry, I don't speak Arabic.
I'm not sure if it is RIPE Atlas or not.
Okay, I saw the picture. Sorry, I don't speak the language. I speak Ukrainian. If you want to, you can talk to me in Ukrainian. Thanks. So it's our second language. So only one. Somebody said that he'd been using it since, was it Mohammed? Like everything? Yeah. No. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to check how many participants in Sudan we have in a minute. And there is another poll, because probably those who answered B or D or C, nobody said C, they've heard that we have another project at the RIPE NCC, which is called RIPE Stat. In that project, we collect all the information around the internet, about the internet we can have our hands on, like BGP announcements, and collect it in a huge database. And that is free also. So you can use it, you can do whatever you want to. You just cannot put information there. You can just take it and analyze it. It's a kind of big data. But the RIPE Atlas is about active measurements. And what is an active measurement? Please type in the chat window. Is it the A, B, C, or D? What do you think? Any ideas? And other thing, please let me know that you are listening. That's why we're here. We want to try to make it as interactive as we can. Please tell me in the chat, is it the measurement which is very quick, vigorously repeated, like creates what it measures, or is initiated by the target device? Thank you, Sarah. CDA, all. It's not necessarily quick, and it's not necessarily vigorously repeated. It's up to you how you configure it. But we do have some protection against people who try to abuse it. And we're going to talk about that too. So the correct answer is the measurement creates what it measures. Initiated by the target device? No, the measurement which creates what it measures. So a passive measurement, it just sits and listens what's going on. For that, we have our stat project. When we just have, collectors in 20-something major exchange points all over the internet. If you're interested, check it out. It's stat.ripe.net. Alvaro, may I ask you to type it in the chat window? If you're curious, this is a huge project and it's free for everybody. But it's a passive thing. You can just access the data and that's it. And in the Ripe Atlas, you can create something and see how the internet reacts on you. For example, you can ask many, like 20 different other participants to try to ping your server, see if it's up and running and things like this. So it's something you do, you create it, and then check how the internet reacts on it. So the goal of this webinar just to show how to use it and create measurements and how to be part of that. So the prerequisites mean that you have to know something before you start using. Sorry, I just cannot see something. Anyway, so you have to have the RIPE NCC Access account. Basically, it means that you have to be registered on our website. Yes, you can just go to the ripe.net and just check what is available without registration. And there is quite a lot. But to be a real part of it, you have to create a profile. Now, if you want to shop on a web shop, you have to create an access account or a personal cabinet or something, just an account. So when we say the RIPE access account, we mean something which is free, just registration on our website. You don't need to pay anything. Just go to the ripe.net and create a free account. Just register, sign up. But it's not that free because, if you let other people to use other participants' software or hardware, it's not kind of nice thing because they can try to use it a lot, but do not introduce something from their point. So we introduce this system of credits. More you participating in the system, more credits you have, so more things you can create using, more measurements you can create using other people's probes or anchors. We're going to talk about this. So it's a kind of credit system, almost like, like a social rating system, but you have to have credits. This is our agenda for this webinar. So we're going to talk about some general things. I'll show how to create a measurement, how to use a CLA to communicate with the RIPE Atlas, and at the end, monitoring, and that's it. So let's proceed to the introduction to the RIPE Atlas. Oh, wait, let me do some. Okay. Sorry. So we say it's a global active measurement platform. It sounds fancy, but that is. And the goal why we created it like 10 years ago is view internet reachability. So if you are an ISP, you're not sure how your servers are visible on the internet, you can go to the RIPE Atlas and ask people from different parts of the world, from Alaska, from Madagascar, try to reach your servers and see the latency, see if it's up for them, and troubleshoot it if something is wrong. And all the points, we call them probes and anchors, are hosted by volunteers. So we don't pay anything to people who are actually part of the system. It's not about money. It's about your rating in the system. It's about your credits. So once you are connected to the RIPE Atlas and you are part of it and let other people to use your probe of anchor, you're getting credits. And all the data is publicly available. So we're not going to share your name. We're not going to share your address. We're not going to share anything. It just, you will be given, every measurement will be given some number, and everything is anonymous on the internet. So we don't share any public, any personal information. And we do follow all those, compliance rules. Like in Europe, we have this GDPR. So we just cannot share, we are forbidden sharing your personal information. We share only things first of all, which are not against those compliance things, but also things that you as the probe hoster have just want to share with the rest of the world. That's it. So every probe of anchor, they have some built-in global measurements towards root name servers. And they're visualized as internet traffic maps. And another thing which might be really interesting for you, that we don't allow anything to be run from your, nobody can access your probes. We're going to talk about this in a minute. And also we have built-in regional measurements toward anchors. So anchors are like probes, they're small ones or software probe, and anchors, they're kind of bigger pieces of software or hardware. We're going to talk about this a bit later. And users can run customized measurements. So for example, you want to run ping from 35 different locations in Latin America towards some other web server. And that web server can be yours or your neighbors or just anybody's. If you're just curious, you can do this. And if you know somebody who's a student and who want to have a really nice, their work, their university, their diploma, they can use it too. So it's a great tool if you want to research something, investigate something for a purpose of the science. But also it's a great tool for troubleshooting if you are an ISP. That's it. So these are the pictures of an Atlas probe. Unfortunately, we are working from home now. I hope you too. So those RIPE probes, now it's I think 4th generation of them. They're really, really, really tiny like this. So this is the easiest way to be part of the RIPE Atlas. You just go to the website, and there is a button. I'm going to show you it a bit later because it's difficult to switch in the Zoom. Just apply the button, say, I want this small device, this small, tiny RIPE Atlas probe, and we'll just send it to you. It's easy. Everything on the RIPE NCC, because we want more network connected to the RIPE Atlas. And right now it's more like 11 probes connected all the time. So all the time, it's more like 11. And more than 10,000 results collected per second. So every second, more than 10,000 different scripts or people are running some kind of measurements, and 23,000 measurements running concurrently. It means that, some measurements you can say, I want to ping my servers every 10 minutes. So technically it's more measurements every minute than results. And we have a bigger thing, which is called RIPE Atlas. It's on the right. So RIPE Atlas, it's a kind of, many years ago, it used to be like a huge and expensive piece of hardware. But now everything is virtual. So now our recent edition, it was announced quite recently, like last month. We have Atlas software probes. And we have RIPE Atlas software anchors. So it can be a virtual machine. For RIPE anchor, just download virtual machine. But to be granted the right to host a RIPE Atlas anchor, like the big thing, you have to meet some requirements. But for RIPE probe, software probe, or the small device, you just need to be anybody. You just apply it on the website and it will be sent to you. And what are the benefit of those plastic thing? First of all, we do care about environmental thing, so we recycle everything. So if you want a new one, you can send the old one, broken one to us, and we will send you a new one, and we recycle it. So this is a small plastic thing. You just connect it. You can connect it in your grandma's house and see when your grandma is switching on her computer. See, it is working because you see the red circle on the map. But also you can run a software probe, and we're going to talk about this a bit later. At the end of the session, Alvaro will show you some demo how to install a RIPE software probe, RIPE Atlas software probe. So this is kind of a piece of the interface. Software probes, they currently support CentOS 7 and 8, Debian 9 and 10, Raspbian, Docker, and the last one, terrorist routers. I never use it, so sorry. But people do it. And because everything, like we are a non-for-profit, we are not an enterprise, everything is done by the community. Not everything, but a lot of things is done by the community. And here is a link, atlas.ripe.net docs software probe. And on that link, you can see all the information about software probes, like people are volunteering to install it and shoot a video. And we would publish a video how you've done it, just for the rest to see how it's easy to do. And the instruction on many different languages. I think there was something in Arabic. So somebody shot a video in Arabic or translated the manual. And there is a very active participant who knows Indonesian. So all instructions, all guides are translated into Indonesian. So feel free to join. We're looking for participants. If there is no your language, you're very welcome to shoot a video or translate the instruction manual, and we will publish it. And here is a link how to apply to host yours as software probe. Once again, everything is free. You can be from anywhere, not only from Europe, but from any part of the world. We're not asking your ID. You just have to be somebody, not a bot. Yep. And now I want to show you a demo. But see how many probes do we have in Sudan. First of all, let's go and check our website. So the website is ripe.net. Do you see my, I hope, yeah. So this is our website. I'm going to make it bigger. And here is how I log in. I just click login. Anybody can do this. I'm just going to use my company email. If you later want to contact me and ask any questions, just please free to email me. My password. I'm logged in. You see my picture, you see my name. And let's go to that page I showed you about the software props. So here you can see all the information, how to do this, all the requirements, and basically you need to know what you are doing, why you're doing, and just everything you can read here. You will have to register your probe, and there is a procedure how you have to do this. All the installation packages are published. You can check the GitHub repository. If you are curious what it's actually doing, there is a code. You can check the code line by line, that's fine. and you are responsible for, all the housekeeping. And there are RIPE Atlas terms and conditions. Just read it through if you have any questions, what it's doing, why we are doing. And we are calling them public probes. There's a link to GitHub. And currently, as I said, yes, so all instruction manuals are translated. Yeah, there is one in Arabic for Centos 8, sorry. Indonesian, Arabic. This is a very popular language. Yeah, and there are some installation videos, so people just showed how they do this. And we are looking for volunteers who want to do this, and we're going to publish their videos on our YouTube channel. So please let us know if you'd like to contribute. You're very welcome. So let's go to the our stat project, stattripe.net. Everything which I'm going to show you is free. If my internet works, I hope it is. That's weird. To be honest, I don't know what's going on, but I hope you hear me.
Yes, sorry, I hear you.
So it's not my internet.
Yes.
But it's not like that, my internet. Okay, let's go to the slides because we do have pictures here. So this is a picture from our RIPE stat project. You remember the static measurements. There is a special measurement where you can, a special widget where you can display the information how many probes are in the world or in one country. So the author of this presentation, of these slides, he just looked for all the probes. It was on Sunday, so he was updating these slides on Sunday, this Sunday. So he looked for all the probes in Sudan, which were connected to the RIPE Atlas, or we just knew about them on Sunday. So you see that there is a blue line, which means abandoned. So somebody in the past, probably it was a real probe, like plastic one, they just asked for a probe, connected it, and just after some time they decided they didn't know what to do with it and just abandoned them. Green, or that means that they're currently connected, and black one, it's kind of they were connected, but right now they're disconnected for some period of time, for a couple of days, but that's fine. So you can see that we have not that many green probes connected. So you are guys really very welcome to be part of this system. Because we like in the Netherlands, we have so many participants. So technically we are trying not to distribute anymore. But in countries like you, outside the region, you are really very welcome. And there is another map from the RIPE stat. Here you see that there is a lot of probes in your capital. Khartoum is it capital, right? So, and they're all connected, and some disconnected or abandoned in other smaller cities. So probably everything is in the Khartoum. Let's check the website. Yes, so we're back. So this is the RIPE stat first page. Let's check Sudan. So just type in your name, Sudan. Let's see what we know about Sudan. We have some country routing statistics, activity. So I click the activity tab. And here is the current status, current map. So now you see that, let me check. So like 20 something abandoned probes. And this is the numbers. No, it was true. So almost all probes are here in the capital. And you kind of can technically see where they are. And if I click on any of them, I just see some when it was abandoned, the prefix, autonomous system, its ID, but no name, no real address. And another thing, because we rely on the information of you, so this information, it was entered, like that is Sudan. It was entered by the owner of the probe, because we do have some probes and we use some geolocation providers to locate approximately the area where this probe is connected, but they can just enter some other countries. So don't rely on this information here, because it's the country, the owner of that probe chosen. That's it. And if we go to the RIPE Satellite project page, so how to get involved. So I just typed in atlas.ripe.net, and technically you don't need to be logged in to see this. Just get involved and start using it. And there is a map. So I'm clicking it, and it's gonna be almost the same, but much more detailed. Checked for Sudan. Yes, you see how many probes we have in the Netherlands. So I wanna go to Sudan. And here, like almost all probes are in the capital. And there is one abandoned probe somewhere, somewhere in suburb. I don't know what city it is. If you know it, please let us know. But it is disconnected. So somebody were using it, but in August, something went wrong and they just disconnected it. And there was only IPv4 connected to this autonomous system. And that's it. And here is its ID. So technically I cannot, well, I have to be logged in to see it. I just logged out. I'm sorry, something is wrong with my browser, because I don't, Sudan. Anyways, if you have your internet now, feel free to do it together with me. Let me just choose somebody here, because every probe has its number. You can type in your name, whatever you want it to be called. We do have some code of conduct, so please don't use anything which is not appropriate on the internet. Here's some firmware version, router type no, shared publicly, user tags. User tags are very useful for big companies or build communities. For example, you have a community and you know that you have like your 20 peers and you want to measure something only in between those hosts. So you give them tags, user tags like this, and create measurements only using those probes, nothing else, because otherwise you have to pick probes randomly or one by one. System tags, because you can connect a probe using IPv4 or IPv6 or both. And for example, if you have IPv6, if your probe is IPv6 capable, the system, the Atlas, will give it a system tag IPv6 capable or IPv4 capable only. Then you can check some network on the informations like this. Built-in measurements. So these measurements were kind of done by the Atlas for free for you. So you don't need to spend any credits on built-in measurements. And somebody else were using this guy's Maverick probe to run those measurements. And each measurement is given an ID, and you can check it. So for example, here, somebody chose that probe to target this. I think it was built-in measurement here, or like this. And we can check the results of that measurement. So let's see. It was a public. You can create a hidden measurement, private. But by default, they are public, so everybody can see the results of your measurement. These are the latest results, the map, latency monitor, and you can download the raw data. So everything is very useful. Just look through all those data. Once again, everything is free. Once it already happened in the past, we add it into our huge database, and you can query it and analyze it in the way you want to. So let's go back to the slides because we have a lot to finish before we run out of time. So if you have time, just go to start.ripe.net, type in SD for Sudan in the query field. You can type in Sudan, go to Activity tab on the left. It's kind of the last tab. And you will see the statistics we presented here about the Sudan, So a little bit about the infrastructure. So here on this picture, on the right, you see anchors and probes. These are the sources, not sources, but participants of the system. And then we have controller and data repository. This is the core part of the RIPE Atlas system. And we have it here. And it's a kind of shield firewall between the people who want to use your probes and anchors and yourself. So basically, when somebody lets a user, the user of the system, not participant, but a user, he is presented or she is presented on the left. You see user in green. Somebody wants to, for example, check if his or her web server is up and running. And if, for example, they had a complaint from somebody in Tokyo saying, hey, I cannot reach your web server. I want to buy some crazy expensive thing, but I cannot do this because I cannot reach you. What you can do, you can go to the RIPE Atlas and say, hey, I want to choose probes in Japan, like 25 probes in Japan, and ask those probes to reach my web server and see how things are. So you go to the RIPE Atlas project and create a task. You create a measurement, we call it a measurement, and run it. And anchors and probes, they synchronize with the core system and check if there is a task for them or no. So all the connections from probes are done from the probe side. So they check if there is a connection, there is a task or something, some new profile on the controller. And if there is something, they will just grab it and do this, start pinging or something. This is a kind of first security layer. So we don't allow the people who are creating measurements to access your probes, your anchors. So everything, all the connections are between the controller and the probes, and the controller and the users. So that don't run anything directly. And once again, all the connections from between the probes and the controllers are initiated from the probe side. So they are synchronized regularly and check if there is something for them. Yeah, that's it. So this is a kind of picture how things are. For example, you are a user in North America, and you have your administering a user server. So you have a user who is paying the money, and that server is located in Africa. I think it was South Africa, I know, Cape Town, probably. So the user server is hosted there, like physical server. We're not talking about virtual, physical server, not about cloud. And the RIPE Atlas controllers are in Amsterdam. So what you do, you as a user, you contact the RIPE Atlas and create a measurement, like a profile, in the RIPE Atlas controller, saying, I want to run that measurement, which means I want to choose 3 probes in Asia region, like somewhere randomly in Asia, and 3 probes in Latin America, just randomly somewhere in Latin America, and try and ask those probes to ping my server in South Africa. And those probes who were selected, they will be, the next time they connect to the RIPE Atlas controller, they see, oh, there is a new task for us. Let's do it. So they will grab those tasks, the task, and will try to ping the user server. So in that, and by the way, it's not like they do it at the same time. Everything is distributed in the time, just not to, not to DDoS our controller. So they grab the task measurements and start pinging the user server. And they send the results back to the Atlas controllers. We put it in the repository, our database, and then the user and all the other users on the internet can access those results, unless the user makes that measurement private. It's also possible. So steps to take. If you want to be part of the RIPE Atlas, because you're not in our region, because in our region, all the local internet registries in the RIPE NCC region, they pay some membership fee, so they take some credits for free every month. But it's not much. We still encourage people, taking our probes, being part of the system, and every time somebody is, you're being paid in credits by every minute your probe is connected. So you need to get a probe, get your RIPE NCC access account, which is also free, register your free after you receive one, or install your software probe, start getting the credits. And then once you need measurement, create a measurement, just do it and use it. That's simple, right? So why to get a free Atlas probe? If you want to do something good for the community and for the internet, just even if you right now don't need to troubleshoot anything, maybe you might need it in the future. Just get it. It's free. It doesn't use much bandwidth. We have some limitations. So by default, your probe cannot be involved in this many measurements at any moment of time. We don't allow your probe be involved in consume more than this bandwidth, and everything is controlled by the RIPE Atlas. So we are not going to use a lot of bandwidth. It's just common sense. And help everyone and yourself to create better measurements. Just be part of this measurement system. Why get credits and create RIPE NCC account? To be able to create measurements and troubleshoot, basically. So take the poll. Can you get a RIPE Atlas probe for free? Sorry, I just mentioned it so many times. Just let me know what you remember. Is the RIPE Atlas probe free? Say A for yes, no for no, C for only if you are from the RIPE NCC service region, and D, only if you are a member of the RIPE Atlas. Tell me what you think in the chat. Yes, you hope, right? Yes, it's A. So those probes are free. The only which is, let's check another poll. Any questions so far? Yeah, they are free.
Yes, we have some few questions here. The first question is, what's the difference between the software and the hardware version of the probe?
Basically, we don't tell anybody what is inside our plastic probe, like physical. It's right now, because we have 4 different versions right now. As far as I know, they are running on Raspberry. Let's check the website. So it's in terms of functionality, there should not be any difference, but there might be some differences because we do support more operating systems in software probes than in hardware probes. And another thing, software probes, basically you can run a virtual machine for that. You don't need to use, like real laptop for that. You can run a virtual machine, it's recommended. And I would say it's easier to update them, but right now they should, in terms of functionality, there should not be any I'm gonna.
Is it the same way to add a prop if it is software? Because it required the ID and the MAC address.
Is it
When you
what?
need to
Sorry.
you need to add the prop to your account. You need to have the prop ID.
Yep.
And prop MAC address.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a software, is it the same scenario or different?
Yes. Let me show you how to do this.
If I can jump in the meantime, we will show that at the end. How do you register the software probe?
Okay.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, better.
You don't need for the software probe. Quick answer is that when you install the software, it generates a token or hash, and then you put that on the registry page.
Okay, another question: is there any limitation for these measurements for Sudan, or is it open?
No, everybody on the internet is equal.
Okay.
So we treat everybody. One of the main motto of the RIPE NCC is that we treat everybody equally. So doesn't matter from which region you are, and for this system, everybody is equal. The only difference is that you are in our region, you can become a local internet registry. And in that case, you can claim up to 1 million credits every month. But for that, you have to be a local internet registry. It's a kind of additional service. But if you are not, if you are a student at university in Den Haag, for example, or in Paris, you're on the same ground as somebody in Sudan. Everything is the same.
Okay.
Doesn't answer your question. Yeah.
No more questions?
So far, so good. Okay, let's show how to create a measurement. Let me do something. So, for example, you have a customer who cannot reach your server. What you can do, schedule a measurement, ping or trace route from up to 1,000 RIPE probes worldwide. So this is a limitation right now. You cannot involve more than 1,000 RIPE Atlas probes at any measurement worldwide to verify where the problem is. And measuring packets loss on suspected bad link and test any CAS deployment. So just easy steps you can do. Credit system. So every measurement you run costs you some credits. For example, a ping measurement costs 10 credits. Trace route, 20. It's just fairness to everybody. If you introduce something, if you just bring something to the system, you can use it more. And to avoid overload, so we don't allow people to abuse the system. And there is spending limit. You can spend more. It's a kind of different. We can change it every time. And there are maximum number of measurements you can create every month. And everything is dynamic, so we see how things are. But normally people don't. If you're not trying to abuse the system, they don't feel it. It is very important for you, as if you are hosting a probe, to know that we do monitor this. How can you earn credits? The easiest way is to host a RIPE Atlas probe. Just apply for it, get it, and that's it. It will not consume a lot of electricity. It will not consume a lot of bandwidth. You just have it. And you can connect it and disconnect it anytime you want to. You can even connect it to your laptop and see where your parents are online. You can be a RIPE NCC member. So if you are registered in the RIPE NCC service region, you can become an LAR, get some addresses from us on everything, and begin some credits. Also, you can host an anchor, and for hosting an anchor, we're giving a bit more credits than if you're hosting a probe. And you can be a sponsor. So if you are running a company and I want you to be listed on our website as a sponsor of the RIPE Atlas, You can say, I want to contribute from something like, I think the sponsorship starts from 1,000 euros. So you can say, I want to contribute 2,000 euros to the RIPE Atlas, and your logo will be listed on our website, and we'll just mention you that you are one of our sponsors. And it's not mentioned here, but every time you're actually running a measurement, which is public, you are getting some credits back. I'm going to check the numbers, and if you're interested, I can I can answer you in the chat. So you're getting some credits back. So more credits you're spending, more you're getting back. It's kind of some percentage. Also, you can, if you are participating in conferences, and if you want to be a person who is involved in the RIPE project as ambassador, you can say, hey, you can order like 20 probes or 500 probes. 500 is too much, like 20 probes, and say, I'm going to a conference in Sudan, in that area. There is no probes, and I'm going to distribute those probes. So you will explain people how to use them, what are the benefits. You convince them to plug them in, and you will be getting some percentage of all the time when those probes are connected. So when they're green, you are getting paid some commission. It's how we encourage people, to go to places where the RIPE NCC doesn't go, and convince people to be part of this. And you will be given a status of ambassador, but you will have to learn how to use them, what are the benefits. SdNOG have some probes, and we would love to distribute them. Yeah, that's good, Sarah. So you can be an ambassador, but you have to learn, invest some time and, like effort to learn what are the benefits and everything. So this is screenshot from the website. So if you go to the website, let me show you my, so this is my page, RIPE Atlas. And here's at the end, there is my Atlas. And if I go here, you see my credits. Let's check how many credits I have. I have this number of credits, more than 1 million, but I cannot buy anything. It's just credits to be spent in the system. And right now I'm not running any measurement, so I'm not spending any credits. I'm not a sponsor. I'm not an ambassador yet. So my status is stable. I'm not doing anything. I can redeem a voucher. Sometimes we have vouchers. If you go to, for example, to a training course about the RIPE Atlas, you can be given a voucher and you can redeem it here. You can share access to your account, let other people to use some of your credits. This is just for if you wanted to have some people to start using your credits. You can transfer. If you have somebody you know who has a lot of credits, for example, from the RIPE NCC region, from any region, we don't care from what region you are coming from, you can transfer this amount of credits. But you'll have to, enter an email address of the RIPE Atlas user. That's it. And charts and how I've been using it, no data yet. And these are the list of measurements I've created in the past. So I've been running all those credits. Almost all of them are 60. Sorry, this is somebody from downstairs wants to reach me. Okay, so this is the credit system. So how to schedule a measurement? You have to log in, and we have like 3 different ways how you can create a measurements. You can use our website, our local user interface. It's so easy, and like everything is user friendly. You can use API. If you want to run a script, use API. You can use curl to get the results, or command line CLI. Command line interface. So this is easy. So how to create a measurement? I'm going to use the website. So this is the ripe.net. This is the measurement. So right now you see all the measurements I see, like these are mine. These are hidden, which are mine but hidden. And you can group them by the type of the measurement. And these are public, like other people are running those measurements. So right now somebody is trying, for example, let's check trace route. Right now, when I click this button, somebody tried to, they gave the description of Themis trace routes. And let's open the measurement, like every measurement is given an ID. So somebody ran one of IPv4 trace route toward this IP. I don't know what kind of IP. So they were trying ping. That's why the protocol is ICMP. So the measurement is ongoing right now. And they were using 7 probes. And they were not using any tags. And the measurement is public. And this measurement cost the guy who created it 60 credits for each single probe, and for 20 credits for 7 probes in total. Wow. Okay, so then you can see the latest results. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here are the results involving all 7 probes. You can see like all the probes by ID. So these are the ID if you click them. These are the autonomous systems to which those probes are connected. So for example, the first probe, 3460, is connected to a network which belongs to this autonomous system, 8522. You can click it and query some results about that autonomous system. It is in Greece. They are not using IPv6, it's only IPv4. It is up and running. RTT is, no, it's not available. Hopes, success, no success. Yep. So this is the latest results. And if I click the probe, I'm going to try the new window. I think it will not work. So maps, you can check the map. It's going to take time. I would say because there is a question, but I'm going to answer it a bit later at the end of the session. So this is a map where it is located. And once again, there is no way how we can locate your address, like specifically. We're using some third-party services, how we can trace you, but it's not done by the RIPE-NCC ourselves. So this is the probe I was looking for. Trace monitor. There is a trace route visualization, some pictures. We're not gonna wait till it's, sorry. IP map. There was an error with that probe, you remember? And downloads. You can download all the data, and there is an URL for AP call, format JSON or non-JSON fragmented. So everything is here. So right now, once again, we are looking at the information about that measurement which somebody created. So it was one-off. Somebody created it, paid for it. For you, it's free. To check it is free. And the idea of that measurement is this one. But you can create your own. How to do this? Let's go here, and measurements, and click create a measurement. So you can give it a definition. You can say, for example, I want to use ping. I want to use ping. Once again, I'm not hosting any probes. I just have some credits. I'm going to ask for Alexa 1111. I'm going to some description, IPv6, interval, tags, packets, advanced options. You can check them. I'm going to use 10 probes. By default, I'm suggesting to use 10 probes worldwide. But if I want to, I can add those props one by one by their IDs and reuse one of the old sets or add some props. So I'm going to cancel those default option of random props. And here in the map, I can go and check, for example, how many props right now we have in Sudan. Unfortunately, only 2. So guys, you are really very, very, very much welcome to be part of this. So we have 2 of them. This one, adding, so it's public. And this one. Okay, so I have 2 probes. And this server is in Ukraine. Let's check how it's done. So this is a very important thing. It's a one-off. If I don't tick this option, it would mean that the measurement will run from start time to stop time. Nope, I want to do it now. And once again, please note that it's in UTC time. So every time you just put some time, it means in UTC. And if you want to use API, if you can just copy it here. So there is a file manual, very detailed manual, how to use API, all the information about that. But if you are lazy, we just want to use it in your script, just create it in the interface and then copy the code. That's it, copy to clipboard, and can use your command line and create a measurement. Let's see how it goes. See a measurement. It was given this ID, so everybody, you can access it. But now its status is, this it's still being configured. It means that the task is already on the controller, on the RIPE Atlas controller, but the probes, it's waiting till the probes connect to get the task, connect to get the measurement to them. So it's still there on the controller. You see it's scheduled, but it's not running yet because we need to wait till the probes connect. And if you are the owner of one of those probes, and if you're listening, you have still time to disconnect it from your network and just not let me use your probe. So there's something went wrong with this one. Not recent, so it's still waiting. Anyways, this is how it works. So let's go back to the slides. Unique ID. Why you need APIs? So if we go back, so this is the link for API. If you want to use scripts, you can use it. And there's a list of keys you can use it. But if you run a script, how does your script know who has to pay for that measurement? That's why you have to create new account. So for example, I want somebody to run a measurement on my behalf using, for example, this new measurement. Let's create a new measurement. So I'm going back and creating a measurement, being the easy one time off. And here in the script, on the last line, there is who is paying for this? If we just copy this script and give it to somebody, who is gonna use the credits? Whose credits wanna be used? So I have to type in my key, because I wanna grant that user to run that measurement. How to create that key? In my Access account, because I do have credits, you remember. I just go to my Atlas and API keys. And here I create an API key and say that's label, some label, permission, create transfer credits, schedule a new measurement, and add a grant and save. And technically, everybody who knows this, where is it? Who knows this? They can use my credits, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to use because this is your UID. So you have to copy it and put it there. I'm not gonna let you use it because you're watching this. So that's it. about the API keys. Yep, we already covered this. I just showed you this, downloads. And a new feature, if you are using GCP, if you're using big data, if you are going to use BigQuery, it's a service by GCP. And we recently started, moving all the data to GCP, to the cloud. So if you are using BigQuery, you can access this project and everything is publicly available and free for you. The RIPE NCC is paying for the storage, but you will have to pay for querying it because it's not free in GCP. But everything is available in forms of BigQuery. Not everything, because we started just publishing it, so it's an ongoing project. Right now, I think it's around 1% of the data is there. This is a link to this project, and the database is called, let me check, RIPE-NCC-Atlas. So if you're using Google Cloud Platform, you can go to BigQuery and import the table, which is called RIPE-NCC-Atlas, and it's free for you. I know you're not paying for the storage, we're paying for the storage, you're paying only for querying the data. That's it. This is, I think, the last poll for this. And tell me, can you create as many measurements as you want? Yes, no, only if you have enough credits. Yes, but only if you pay for it. Tell me what you think. Yes, you need to have credits. But be part of this is free. So you can get started for free.
Yeah, we have some quick questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first question is the network security and privacy issue about, whether this prop will violate my privacy in the network if I install it.
What do you mean about the violation?
I mean, if you install the prop in my network internally, is that going to violate the privacy policies in my network or cause some security issues? Because everybody now think about if I install this equipment in my network, it can cause some security issues.
First of all, we are not allowing any connections from outside. It's only ping, trace route, and all the the number of commands we use. That's it. It's quite difficult to abuse your network or violate your privacy issues on that. And also, we have a project which is called RIPE Labs. Because we're running out of time, I'm gonna check it. Okay, I'm gonna try to find it here. We did have an audit from a third-party agency. We did audit our plastic probes and the whole system, and they did have some issues. Did find, I think it was like 5 years, or even more before we fixed everything. And well, you can find the report. And technically, if you want to be like really secure, do not violate anything, you can just shut down everything, put it in a safe, and forget the code. That's why everything will be secure. So we are finding the balance between usability and security. And because your network is connected to the internet, you can think, okay, do I allow other people to ping this probe or use traceroute or use those, or yeah, Alvaro send the link. Thank you, Alvaro. So do you allow to ping everybody? Do you allow to traceroute? Do you allow those other commands? I think there are like 7 or around 7 different commands. If you do, that's it. If you don't want other people to ping that is for sure, it's against your rules. But there is a clear thing what we are going to do. So there is nothing like, if you host it, somebody can reach it, do something, and like access your network from that prop. No, all the incoming connections are not allowed. So it's the host, or it's the probe who initiates the connection to the write atlas controller and gets the task to ping something.
Okay,
Basically, you're not allowed to ping. It's just you're allowed to outgoing connection. That's it.
Thank you very much.
If I can
Yeah,
add something to that, is that as Alexandra mentioned, we only run active measurement, so there is no passive listening or sniffing packets on the network. That's not needed, and that's not done. So that means you can put if you want to be, you really want to have a secure probe in your network, you can put it on a VLAN or an isolated network behind a firewall. And as it's been mentioned, all the traffic that is going to be generated from the probe is from the probe towards the internet. That means, and is a few protocols. So it's SSH, is ping and trace route. So you have ICMP, you have trace routes. We have TCP, UDP, and ICMP. Some HTTP can also be generated. So it's just a few protocols. You can keep close behind a firewall any incoming connection, and only allow answerings coming back from already started connection from inside. So you can keep control of what's going on. The amount of traffic is also by design kept very low, so there is no overload. It's just a few bytes and normal probes. So we try to make it, simple and secure. Also, for example, for the hardware probes that I know for sure, is embedded in the hardware two things. One is the SSH key, and the other one is the server's address. So if you want to change those things, you will have to tamper with the hardware and probably break the probe. So that's also, we try to make it secure in the hardware ones. To be honest, the software ones are pretty new, so I'm not sure how it's done there. I don't know if that helps.
Thank you. We have another question before you start the demo from Yusuf. He said, I cannot keep my laptop or PC open all the time. What is the proper time or duration that would make good measurements?
If you want to create a measurement,
Yes.
you just create, basically when you're creating a measurement, you are creating a configuration file, configuration. So you have to open the interface, go to the RIPE Atlas website and create the measurement. Then you can close your laptop, because now it's the communication between the RIPE controller and the probes you've chosen for your measurement. So once
I think they are asking for if you run the software probe in your laptop.
Yeah.
How much do you have to keep it on?
For what? Well, if somebody is using your probe, at some point they will have an error saying that your probe is disconnected. I would say you can keep it just as much as you can. And I think you are being given, I think it was something like 15 probes per minute when it is connected. Or 15 credits.
Okay.
I don't remember. Because I don't remember by heart.
The number of credits you get depends on the measurements that are used in your probe.
Yes.
Always the built-in measurements are running. So those are measurements we run to the root servers for DNS. So you for sure get some credits. And then if somebody chose your probe for creating a measurement, those user-defined measurements also give you credits. But if you don't have your probe connected quite often, you don't get the tag that is a stable probe. So you most probably don't get selected for measurements, and you won't get credits in reward.
Thank you. We have another question from Hassan. He said, can you please give me an estimation of the amount of data that I will get if I run BigQuery just for testing purpose?
BigQuery in the GCP?
BigQuery, I don't understand.
The new interface, maybe the new BigQuery, the Google BigQuery.
GCP, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what exactly you are querying.
So it depends on the query. Okay.
And well, it's also possible not to use the GCP. You can use an API. No, it depends what you are querying, as far as I know.
So far, no questions now?
It's not possible to copy everything, if you mean that. It's like petabytes, because right now, for example, we started this project copying all the data, or all the past measurements into the GCP. And it's been taken as like a month to copy around 1%. So it's a lot of data. So it's easier to query our database than to copy all the data to your database. I hope it answers the question.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Actually, I already created the demo. So we did the demo. It just how to create a measurement. So to create a pink measurement, just is default 10 probes. You can create API key. I showed you how to do this. So we already finished it. And you can use API and the code. I showed you how to copy it. And on the bottom, there is a line when you have to specify your API key to know who is paying for that measurement. That's it. Then you open your command line and use that curl command and check. That's it. And take the results from the system. Basically, that's it. We are now about
Actually, we'll take 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Breaks.
Yeah.
اوكي هناخد 10 دقائق بريك وهنبدا السيشن مره ثانيه ان شاء الله. Be connected. Thank you very much.
Okay, there is one other question. Where is the data stored, and can you move the computers to it rather than moving it to GCP, or have a GCP or other computer instance close to you? How to say this? We store them in here, in a data center.
Okay.
All the data is stored here, but we are gradually moving it to GCP, to BigQuery, to Bigtable, BigQuery. And we have a huge team who is working on this. But right now there are two options. Either you can use our old infrastructure or use the BigQuery in GCP. This is the answer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello? Okay, we don't hear you. You are muted. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm ready here.
Okay, we have one question from Ali before you
Yes.
start. Before you start the second session.
Yeah, I see two questions here. What if I make a batch or whatever to let my probe that I allow ICMP on it idle and makes hundred of pins to win credit? Is that something legal? So if I understand well, you're asking if you create measurements using your probe that will give you credits. That's correct. But the measurements you are creating to use your probe also consume credits. So I don't know the math, but I don't think you can make a lot of benefit out of it. Also, the number of measurements you can create, as Alexandra explained, is limited. So you can create thousands of measurements. So there is a limited number of measurements you can create, even if you have as many credits as you can. So that's somehow controlled. That's why the credit system is used to control a bit any kind of abuse on the system. And the other question is that you win credits if they use your probe. Yeah, that's correct. If somebody use your probe to create measurements, create measurements using your probe, for each one of those measurements, you get credits. That's correct.
Okay. We have
There
another
is
question.
another question. Yeah. Which do you still advise, the physical probe or the software probe? Is there any notes on accuracy or anything, or they are the same? That's actually a really good question. The software probes are pretty new. I think just a few months. But I think we already have made some comparison on the results. To be honest, I think there is an article, but I'm not sure if it's something that they distribute internally or is made public already. But I think the results is what is important, and we don't see a big difference between the software and the hardware probes. So I would recommend whatever is easier for you to install. Sometimes it's much more easy to install a software probe because you can do it in an already existing infrastructure. You don't need to connect any other hardware box in a USB and an Ethernet port. So I think right now we are seeing an increase in the number of probes. And I think since we started to distribute or allow software probes. So I will recommend the one that is easier for you. Also, the availability of hardware probes is much more limited. For example, you are lucky that SdNOG has some hardware probes they mentioned in the chat, so you can request them. But we have been depending on the sponsorship we get, we create batches of probes. Then we distribute to ambassadors in the meetings and to different organizations that help us. And then we run out of probes, hardware probes, and then we have to wait for new ones to come. So it can be that you request a hardware probe and it takes some time to get one, or it can be even difficult. So regarding the measurements, accuracy, or delays, or comparing results, there is no big difference in general. Here you have, Alexandra put yeah, so it's a public article already from Stephen. You can see there the results, and it seems that they're pretty much the same. There are a couple of exceptions, if I remember well, but there could be different reasons for that. For example, if I think one of the possible reasons is that the software probe is running on a virtual system that is overloaded with other things going on. So if it's a lot of processes happening, that means the resources left for the virtual probe are less. So that makes sense, right? But in general, I would recommend. I think right now the software probes, I'm gonna try to show you today It's quite easy to install, to register and have it running, and it's a really good way to start, contributing to the RIPE Atlas and become part of it. As Alexandra mentioned, we need your help, and we'll be really good at you help us increasing the number of probes. For example, having probes in both Sudan, and somebody mentioned Chad as well. That would be great. There is only a few of them, and so that would be really helpful for us to have new networks, new ASs, new countries. I'm gonna share my desktop. Okay. It's taking some time here. Okay, so
You can see your screen, yeah.
okay, great. I'm gonna close a couple of things, and I'm gonna start with the presentation. 1 second here. So yeah, welcome back. It's good to have some questions. Always it's good to see what are the questions. The security one is always a good one as well, and we try to make things secure. And now we also left some time for people to come back. The following part is a bit shorter. I'm gonna introduce basically the CLI, that is another interface to the RIPE Atlas system. Remember that Alexandra explained that we have our core, the core of our service is the configuration and the data repository, and that core connects to the probes and anchors in one side, and then all the clients, the users, connect to this core of the system or the service. And there are many ways of accessing the RIPE Atlas. We already have seen the user-friendly web interface, where you can use a few clicks, create measurements. Also, we have seen the API that using, for example, a curl command, you can connect to it and pass several parameters. Also, we have seen the new BigQuery that is used, having in mind that the amount of information we have been gathering for many years. We are celebrating 10 years of RIPE Atlas. So that means thousands of probes creating thousands of measurements for 10 years. The amount of information is huge. And also, um, people using RIPE Atlas could be network operators, content delivery networks, enterprises, whoever wants to measure things on the internet, but also the research community is highly involved. And there is many people doing PhDs and research and papers based on RIPE Atlas data. And BigQuery is quite useful for this kind of people that needs to process huge amount of information and filter, etc. So for those people, that's really a good addition to the system. The other interface we have is the CLI. So you have a command line tool you can use to access the system, to do things in the system. We will see is it can allows you to see results, create measurements. I don't know, many of the things we have seen in the web interface, for example. So you run a client on your own computer. We have a well-maintained CLI tool for Linux or OS X or Mac OS, and the recent ones, or any kind of Unix POSIX system. You can have the source code, or you can even have some packages. We also have Windows tool for Windows. It's a bit more experimental, so it's a bit like a use at your own risk. But I have to tell that I tried. I have a Windows machine, and it works just fine. It's not so updated. Some small features were not there at least in the few tests I did, but it works. So if at some point you need to use a CLI from Windows, there is something available. You have the links here. You can go there and install it. It's not very difficult. It's quite easy. The software is open source. So the community, something that Alexandra mentioned as well. We are RipeNCC. We are a company with employees, and we are based in the Netherlands. So we are something more official. But then the community is everybody out there on the internet, and we work a lot with the community at large. So we create usually tools and things with using the community input, contribution, and help. You have documentation there, and also the source is in GitHub, so you can contribute. You can even get the source code to see how it works, and we're more than welcome to help us adding new features if you find something that is missing. How to install in Mac OS can be as simple as using the easy install. So you first install the PIP, and then using PIP, you can install the RIPE Atlas tools. In Linux, there are several packaging repositories, or you can use the same as in OS X. You can find instructions on the previous links I shared. But then to use the CLI, there is an important step and is an important idea, because remember, and also gives you. We are repeating a bit the main ideas we have seen before. The public results, the public measurements. You don't need any kind of account or authentication to access the public measurements. That's freely available, and with a URL or going to the website, you can get there. But if you want to use the system in the sense of creating a measurement, you need credits. So that means you need to be part of the system. First, you need an access account that can be easily created with any email account you may have, and you need credits. But then when you create a measurement, that measurement will use credits. So you need to somehow have authorization to do some to create measurements or do some activities on the system. How do you do that for a CLI? In our case, you can use the API keys we have seen before. Alexander showed you how to create on the web interface. It's quite straightforward. So once you know what you want, you just go there and create. I'm going to show later quickly how to create an API key. And you use that API key, you copy and paste this UUID, or I don't know what's the exact name. You run this command, RIPE Atlas configure, set authorization, create, and then you put the key. That means everything you do with CLI from that moment on will be using the account associated with that key, with the permissions you provide to that key. Remember, you can limit the time that is valid, and you can limit what can be done with that key. It can be create measurements, but can be other things. I'm going to quickly show you some examples, and then I will run them in my terminal so you see them running. You can quickly fetch measurement results. For example, a ping, you only need to know the unique ID of that measurement. Remember, each one has a unique ID. You can search for probes. Something good to know is that having a good set of probes is really important. Having probes that are stable, that belongs to the networks where you have users. I don't know. There could be several reasons to choose probes. They're IPv6 enabled, could be different things, or they are in specific AS number. Having those probes is something useful to have, and the CLI allows you to search for probes with different criteria. So, for example, belonging to a specific ASN, if they have a V6 AS number, or they are a specific country. I don't know. You can change different things, right? Also, when you search for probes, we will see there are different columns showing information from the probes. In the CLI, we have limited space, so you may want to choose which columns, which pieces of information you are interested. Could be the status of the probe, if they are connected or not, which country they are, description of the probe, etc. Right? You can specify that on the CLI. Also, you can create measurements, of course. Once you are authenticated with an API key, you can create a measure, can be any of the types available. Remember, we only have ping, traceroute, DNS. HTTP is only for anchors. So is a few limited number of measurements you can create, and you have, of course, at least to specify the target. I'm gonna do it later on. It can get complex. You can pass many different parameters here. You can, for example, say I want to include 20 probes from a specific country, or I want 20 probes from a specific country with the tag. Remember the tags of the probes, and the tag that is system IPv6 works is a good one, because that means that IPv6 is working on that probe. It has a good connectivity and is being used properly. Or you can also create, instead of a one-off, if you specify an interval in seconds, that means that that measurements will be run every, in this example, 3,600 seconds. Yeah, I think it's around an hour. I'm not sure. So before I do the demo, I'm gonna ask a question. How do you identify yourself for credit accounting when you use a CLI? Yeah. And you have 4 options. Option A, you have to log in and use your password. You have to use your NCC access account using an API key, or using a personal maintainer object. Remember, I'm asking for the CLI. I'm going to switch for a second to see the chat. Where is the chat? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Only one answer? So everybody went for lunch or what?
I think
yeah, okay.
they could see the question.
Sorry? They can see the question. Sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it again. 1 second. Yeah, thank you. A, login and password. Remember, CLI is using the command line interface. A, B is the RIPE NCC access account. C, API key. Or D, personal maintainer object. Yeah, more people is answering now. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, you can correct if you want to. So using the CLI, the RIPE Atlas tools, I see people answering A, C, and D. So a little bit of everything. More A's coming in. Okay, the right answer is the C, is the API key. Remember, login and password is what you use in the web interface, for example, or it's similar to the B access account. You can use your access account login and password to use the web interface and go to My Atlas, and then you create measurement using your credits. The maintainer object, is not correct. That's for the RIPE database, nothing to do with the RIPE Atlas. The right one is the API key. I'm gonna show you a little bit how you do that, so maybe things are more clear. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you a little bit how to use the CLI. First thing I'm gonna do is to go to the Atlas. Yeah, let me go to Atlas here. If you are not logged in with your Access account, you don't see here My Atlas. Do you see on the left menu? You don't see My Atlas here. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. So I'm gonna log in with my Access account. You can create this Access account using any email, so it's not a big problem. It's quite easy. You only have to go to access.ripe.net. Now in my atlas, yeah, I can see all the information here. There is plenty of information. I have a couple of probes, for example. You can see I have a daily income of 61,000 credits because I'm running right now is a bit lower because one of my probes got disconnected. I have one in Spain. I'm from Spain in my mother's house, and she messed a bit with the cables. And it's not easy to explain her what's a Ethernet cable, a USB connector, and where to connect what. But the one I have here in the Netherlands is working fine, is up. And yeah, now I moved to a provider without IPv6, so I'm not IPv6 capable or anything like that. That's bad. Something to show is the amount of bits per second is a kilobits per second. Yeah, so is really low the amount of traffic being generated. Also, the amount of packets you see is in the range of 4 or 5 packets maximum, below 8 packets per second. It's not a huge thing. The built-in measurements are measurements that Alexander explained are generated, for example, to root servers, DNS servers we maintain, and we keep stats of this. And these are already giving me credits. If somebody create measurements, people were asking about that. There are user-defined measurements that are using my probe. You can check which ones are they, and I can see here all of them. And if they are a ping, a trace route, or what are they, doing from my probe. And all these measurements are also giving me credits. The more, the merrier. So the more they are using me, more credits I get. Let's go to the topic is the API keys. I go here on the menu API keys, and Alexander already showed you can create an API key with a permission to schedule a new measurement. It's enabled and is valid right now. So if I save it, I have here the newly created one. Yeah, I can copy the UUID, and now I can go to the command line tool. This sometimes can be really useful if you want to connect to a server you have access to, but only using a SSH or a command line interface. Remember, the first thing to do, I'm gonna show you that without any kind of authentication or API or anything, I can access some measurement. For example, I don't know if you see this properly. If it's too small, just tell me, okay? So RIPE Atlas report, and I provide the measurement ID. And here I can see it looks like a ping from all these probes towards this IP address. And I can see all the results here, yeah? Here, okay. Now, I'm gonna go to again here, I'm gonna copy the key ID because I want to provide the tool authorization to create measurements and to use my credits. Yeah, is what Alexandra explained. So here you can see RIPE Atlas configure set authorization, and I use my API key. Yeah, so now I should be able to create a measurement. I'm gonna, go a bit faster because we are a bit late. So I'm gonna quickly create, for example, a ping to Wikipedia. So it's a measure ping target Wikipedia. So it will access the system. It creates a measurement, and you can see already here what's my measurement ID. Is this one here. So using the URL, Yeah, here is a making by default. I think it chooses 50 different probes. We can go and access the system using a different interface. Yeah. So the measurement I created using the CLI is available on the system using any other interface. For example, web interface, where I can see a one-off ping to Wikipedia. I can see 50 probes participated. I can see also how much it cost, etc. Alexandra already showed you the interface. Yeah, all the probes involved. They are randomly taken from the all over the world. The results, the visualization, etc. Yeah, we have seen this. So it's good you know that the CLI allows you to create things, grab results. It's just another interface to access the system. Yeah. So now I'm gonna move back to the slides where I have another demo. So for example, let's make it a bit more complex. I want to create a trace route to test the reachability of Wikipedia again. But it's an interesting example because we have different types of trace route. A TCP trace route can be really interesting sometimes. For example, to bypass filtering of ICMP or even UDP, or if you want to check connectivity to a specific service that is available over TCP. Um, so that can be really useful. The command will be something like this, right? Atlas measure trace route, everything you have here. You can see, you can indicate the country, the number of probes, the protocol is TCP, and the port and the target. Yeah. So let me try this one quickly. I'm gonna copy so it's faster. So I put here the whole command on the CLI and wait a bit. Trace route, okay, it's been created. That's a good thing. Yeah, so this is my measurement ID. It will take some time. Trace route involving several probes. You know, trace route takes more time. But if you go to the web interface and I go to measurements, we can see in the CLI something is running and is showing results as the system gets them. But in measurements, we have here different tabs. So in mine is my measurements. I can see the newly created one, yeah, trace route to Wikipedia, and it's 20 probes and it's running. I see status here is ongoing. It says ongoing, right? So it's just using my credits, generating the results, and then I will get the visualizations that for trace route are, you know, we have different ones than for pings. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back to the presentation. Let's also make another question, yeah? So which method gives you greater flexibility in creating measurements and in looking up results? And the options are, 50-50 here, CLI or web interface. Which one do you think is the right one? A or B? Okay, I see people already answering A. A, you are a smart guy. Yeah. B. Somebody like more the web interface. Yeah, another A. Most of you are answering A bit for the contest. You can guess it by the contest. We are talking about CLA, and the right answer is CLI. Yeah. So web interface is powerful and allows you to do several things. But the CLA is supposed to be more flexible unless it's not easier to use. Okay. It can provide you like specific details on how to, for example, customize the output on the results and when you look for probes, etc. Yeah, for example, you can see much more details about the probes. So the right answer here is A. Okay. I'm gonna also now move into the Atlas Solver probe. I think this is a really interesting topic. Um, I'm gonna give you several links where you can find useful information, and then Mohammed will gonna help me with showing a video at the end. Um, Let me tell you that this is been a big success. Has been a request from the community for a long time, because connecting a hardware device in some networks is quite difficult, and many times also happens that people just disconnect by mistake, or somebody comes and sees this device connected somewhere in the data center and they don't know what it is and they disconnect. There are multiple reasons for problems with hardware, and there was a big case for software probes. But we wanted to test first if they were safe to run, how to make it secure, how to distribute them, etc., etc. So now they have been running for some time. We have quite a lot of them, I think above 1,000 for sure. There is a link there where you can find a lot of information. Alexander already showed to you. You have instructions, video, and we support many different platforms. If you check some of the information in that page, we wanted to highlight some of it. You are the one that installed the software package, um, and you have to do the right installation and appropriate for your operating system. So there is part of it that is a little bit in your hands. Um, we maintain also a binary RPM package. You have to follow the registration process once you install the software probe, and also keep the versions up to date. So you have to upgrade to the new versions as they become available. Um, in case also there are changes, for example, the access the credentials for your probe, and then you need to re-register the new access credential. So it requires a little bit more maintenance on your side, but it's not something that crazy that is going to be changing quite often. But it's good this is part of the conditions when you go to that page. Also, it's been already shown here the platform we support for the software probes. We have videos and installation manuals. If I'm not wrong, if I understood well, the Arabic translations are coming from SdNOG people. So thanks for that. And as Alexandra also mentioned, there is a GitHub repository that is open for the community to help us translate into any other languages. This is just starting, so that's why we have these few languages, but I'm sure more will come in the future. We are trying to develop content and helpful material in many other languages. Okay. Before showing the video, I'm gonna I would like to give you like what are you going to see, yeah, in the main steps. It's gonna be a Centos-7 installation. It also includes the request or starting the process of registering the software probe. You will see the main steps are first to install the repository where you can get the RPM package. So what you actually install in the first step, or an ambassador that made the video, is to install the repository. Then you can use your local package management software to go to that repository you installed and grab the software probe, make the installation, and it generates the key you have to use to register the probe. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I will allow Mohammed to share the video and play the video.
Before I start sharing, we have one
Yep.
question here from YouTube. What's the benefit for ISP and IXP to host a prop as they already have a monitoring system?
Yes, that's a good question. The main For me, the main benefit of hosting a probe is that you get credits, because that means you can use the system to create measurements. The value of RIPE Atlas, for me at least, is not that you are able to create measurements from your own network. You don't host a probe to create measurements from that probe. You can run pings and traceroutes from your own infrastructure already. That's easy. What's not easy at all is to run measurements from somebody else's network. So if you want to see how people see your network from outside, from many places around the world, you can use RIPE Atlas. But to use RIPE Atlas, you need credits. How do you get credits? Well, hosting a probe is a really good source of credits. You can also host an anchor. That is a kind of a more powerful probe. We also have hardware and software, or hardware and virtual anchors. It requires a bit more of a commitment in terms of bandwidth and stability, and connectivity of IPv4 and IPv6, but you will get much more credits if you host an anchor. So for ISPs and IXPs, also allows people to measure things from their networks. There are really interesting studies and measurements to see how traffic goes through IXPs, or are using how the traffic goes through different ISPs, to detect outages or problems in networks. So the uses of a probe in your network are multiple, but mostly you will be making use of somebody else's probes to measure your network from outside. That's the difficult thing to get nowadays. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah. Is it possible to integrate the prop with the current monitoring system like CACTI, LibreNMS, MRTG, and all of that?
Yes, actually, there are some plugins for forget the names now. I don't know if it's Cacti, and there is another
LibreNMS,
one.
I see.
Sorry?
LibreNMS.
No, that one I think not yet. That's a good one, but not yet there. There is a couple of them, but as there is a the API, for example, these tools usually can query a URL and HTTP over HTTP or HTTPS, and you can customize the parameters. So then they can grab that result, and then you can set a threshold, and then you can raise an alarm or a warning. So it won't be a really difficult thing to do. And there is some examples on some of these open source tools already. There is also, for example, an example of a company that use RIPE Atlas to measure, a gaming company, and there is an article on RIPE Labs, and they embedded the measurement from RIPE Atlas into their measuring monitoring system. So yeah, it is
Okay.
possible.
Can I start the video?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Right. So moving on, I will be talking about the binary installation, binary package installation on CentOS 7 or CentOS 8. Moving on to the CentOS binary installation, let me go back to the terminal, and let me switch to the other terminal tab which I have inside here, which is basically running CentOS 7.8. But having said that, the instructions are pretty much the same. The only difference is probably the package, the path, as well as the package names for that matter. So let me go ahead and do that. So the first thing what you need to do in the case of CentOS 7 or CentOS 8 is to download the packages. And you can download the packages using a command line tool like curl. So once you do that, if I do a listing, you see that the package is downloaded. But having said that, this is actually not the RIPE Atlas software package. This is only the package for the repository information. So as I said, in Linux and Unix world, you have package managers. So this package manager will talk to repository servers. So this package is basically installing the repository server information inside your Red Hat or more specifically CentOS-7 operating system. So what we will do is, the next thing what we will do is we can also verify that the file hasn't been tampered with. And the way we can do that is to check the checksum of it. I'm sorry, the file name must have changed. Let's see. Right. So you can use the SHA-256 sum to check the checksum value. So in case of any tampering, and this is something that is this checksum or hash value is present on the RIPE Atlas website. So you can verify that the file hasn't been tampered with, or the file in downloading, there hasn't been any kind of issue with regards to a corrupt download, say for example. Then the next thing what we will do is we will install the package which we have downloaded. And the way to do that is by using the package manager command yum. So yum install, let me choose the correct one. You need to be root. So in this case, I need to prefix the command with sudo. And when I do that, it will ask me whether I want to install it. And I say yes. And just to give you a behind the scenes understanding of what exactly happened. So this package basically installed a file in the directory /etc/yum.repos.d. And there would be a file called as ripe-atlas.repos. So this package is just installing the repository information about it. It's not actually installing the probe. So the next thing what we will do is, now that the repository information is known to my operating system, I will use the command yum install atlas sw probe. That's the name of the package. This is the one which is going to install the probe. So we will go ahead and install this package. And once you do that, then the step remains the same, which we did for the Debian operating system, which was to copy the SSH public key. And once the public key is given to the RIPE Atlas system, then it will generate or create the probe in their infrastructure. Let me be ready for a while. So it is asking me whether I want to install this package. I say yes. It will also install this package as well as other dependencies like ps-misc as well as net-tools. And once it is installed, we print the SSH public key on screen and then put it in the system. So here is the same command which we did for compiling and installing the probe on Debian operating system. So here is the SSH public key. I put it here. I say accept and I say submit. And what that will do is it will send a request to the RIPE Atlas infrastructure. So I get an email saying that the probe is I believe the first one was sent 9 minutes ago, maybe another 5 to 6 minutes, we should receive it. So by the time we do Q&A, we should have received an email saying that the probes have been created. But moving on, same with regards to for CentOS-7, CentOS-7 is what I've demonstrated. For CentOS-8, it's pretty much the same. So there is no difference with regards to CentOS-8 except the packages as well as the hash value. The rest of the steps are pretty much the same. In the case of CentOS-7 and 8, as I said, you can also install the packages from source. So this is the way you could do it. I am not going to cover it, but you could explore this if that is something that interests you.
Okay. You are mute. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, now, sorry. How much time do we still have?
15 minutes?
15? Okay.
15 minutes? Yeah.
Great, great. Because I'm almost finished, but I have a couple of things here. I don't know if there are some questions.
Yeah, there's some a donation from Nishal, INX, South Africa.
Yep.
Those who need credits to conduct measurements, they can contact him directly. We'll share the email in the chat room. Thank you, Nishal. It's just an announcement.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
of course,
now.
They can also contact, is a good offer. Thank you, Nishal. You can also contact NCC once you install something, or you have any kind of request, or you know, any concern or any question about. There is an email by default is atlas@ripe.net, where we provide support in case of any problem or anything. Yeah. No more questions?
I also wanted to add something. There's going to be a deployatron. You can win 5 million credits. I posted the link into the chat. If you're interested, just visit the link. It's going to be on November 25th, and it's free.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they are as celebration of the 10th anniversary, 10 years of RIPE Atlas. We're organizing several things, and this deployathon, yeah, seems to be a cool thing. So
you can continue.
Okay. Now let's play a bit. I'm gonna organize. I don't know if people know Kahoot, but what I'm going to do is to share in a minute a web page, and you will see a place to go. Let me configure things here. I know if people already know Kahoot, but you will see the question and answer on the screen. So here in the Zoom, but you need to connect your phone, tablet, or laptop to the website I'm gonna show, and there's where you there's where you answer the question. Okay, let me see if I can make this happen. Okay. Okay, I'm almost there. 1 second, I'm sorry. There was a lot of new options here. Okay.
We don't see it, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. Not sharing yet. Do you hear something?
Yes, the music.
Okay, now you can hear the music. Okay. So I'm gonna make this bigger. You have to go to kahoot.it. Yeah, and there you will have to put the game pin 124634 and a nickname. Yeah, you put a nickname so we know how are you doing. And then when people is logged in, I'm gonna start, and then you will see the questions, and you can answer in your screen. Okay. So let's see if you pay attention. Yeah. We have 3 people already. 4. Come on, don't be shy. We have Red Hat even here. Famous player, famous. So, no more people? Come on, it's funny. Yeah, more people getting in. 6 people. It's not too many questions. It's only 11 questions, if I'm not wrong. Okay? Yeah, more people getting in. I don't know why you can hear the music now. Okay, it's better. Yeah, nobody else. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, 1 minute. If you are trying to log in and you have problems, please put on the chat so I wait a bit more. Yeah, more people is coming in. I'm gonna wait a bit more. Yep. 8, 9, nice. Okay, still loading. You mean when you log in, there's a loading page, right? Loading. Yeah, I think until I click on start, you don't see anything. You just see like initial page, a green one, if I'm not wrong. Is somebody else trying to log in with the game pin and nickname? Nobody? Okay, I'm gonna give 10 seconds. 9, 8, 4, 3. People are still logging in. Maybe, yeah, it may be that it goes a bit slow depending on your connectivity. To be honest, I don't know where this website is. IT sounds like Italy, but I'm not sure.
Yes, you can use your Android phone. Somebody asked a question, Alvaro. Any phone.
Yes.
If you have BlackBerry, I'm not sure, but you can try.
Yeah, even for Android or iOS, I think there is an app. There is a Kahoot app.
You can go to the web browser.
Yeah, also in the browser, sure. It's still loading. Okay, let me click on start. Yeah, and then nobody else, I think, can log in, and then probably people will see something happening. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So Ripe Atlas. So you should probably start seeing something in your screens. Yeah. First question, what does active measurement mean? Yeah, you have 4 options. You have to click on your own screen. Which one do you think is the right one?
Alvaro, we have a really bad, I think it's a decoder because we have, like rectangles.
What do you mean? You don't see the answers?
We cannot read. When the connection is very bad, sometimes it's not just, yeah, now it's better, but we don't see the answers. So we do see what does active measurement mean, but we cannot read the answers.
In the Zoom screen?
Yes, because the connection is so bad or compression, I don't know. Oh, now it's better. Something changed. Now it's much better. Now it's okay.
Can the other people see that? You can put on the chat. You see better now? Yes, seems so.
Yes.
Great. Sorry for that. Okay. Well, nobody answered the right one, so we are, all on the same page. If you have problem with colors, you also have shapes, right? So you have the triangle, the square, the circle, and the rhomboid thing. Okay. No, the time is set on the tool. It's a bit short. I'm sorry, Mohammed. Now we already started also. Okay, let's try the next one. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if we can see it better, okay? Well, nobody made it, so let's go to the next one. How can you not create a measurement? You have command line interface, SSH into a probe, via the web interface, or API compatible. Yeah, 2 answers. Also, it's good that the faster you answer, the more points you get. Oh, we only got 4 answers. Maybe it's too short time to read or for the system to reach out to you. I don't know. Can we answer in the chat? But well, you can answer in the chat. Yeah, the time is too short. Okay. Do you want me? Do we have time to try to change that setting and we do again? What do you think?
I think yes. Can you?
Okay.
I got one message here for those who use Android. It will
But
ask you. Wait. It will ask you to update your.
Don't
Sorry.
show us the interface with the answers.
Yeah, I know. No, there is no. Let me try to get here.
So you don't see anything on your mobile device. So it's only on the screen. And Alvaro, now we do see your screen.
Yeah, I know. No worries.
On your phone, whenever you, as a participant, you see only 4 different colors, 4 different buttons in 4 different colors and with shapes. So you have to press the button which corresponds to the correct answer. For example, in the last question, you couldn't SSH to any of the probes because of the security reasons. Nobody can do this. We don't allow people to tamper with the installation because of the security issue as well.
I'm trying to edit here. Yeah, the answers are only in the Zoom screen. Okay. What's this? Okay, no, not this. Here. So it's set to 20 seconds. I'm gonna put 30 seconds. Is okay?
Put 45.
No, it's gonna be 30 or 60. It doesn't allow me to put anything I want. 60,
60.
I think. How much?
30, I think.
30. Okay. Let me try to change the times here to 30. I have to go question by question.
And if you're interested, really, I really recommend you to sign up for the Deployatron. They're going to be an open house about the RipeStat. You can ask any questions. We'll be talking to people who are really into that project, like from the first hands. And if you only participated, like sign up and do something, you'll already receive 1 million. But if you finish it, one of the first, or just finish it, it's 5 million. And you don't need to host anything. You just can be anywhere, anybody. You can be a student, a pupil. We're going to restart it, Mohammed. So you'll see those 2 questions once more time. So you know the answers, right?
Yes.
Let's see how your memory is.
And see who is the fastest, who has the best internet. Probably those who have IPv6, right?
Here, let me see. I'm gonna randomize the question. So
why you cannot log in again, Mohammed?
Can't log in again.
Try another browser. Because Alvaro hasn't started the game. So Alvaro has to click start. And now you see the pin. It's a new pin.
This is the new one. So you have to go again to kahoot.it, start fresh, and put the new pin. There is a new number you have to use. Yeah, I see people logging in. Okay, we have 5 people already. Yeah, the one was a rehearsal. Okay, so we were just learning how how to log in, how to use the system. The answers are only on the Zoom screen, only on the event.
And now it becomes this, like again, like
what?
the video quality is quite bad. Is it only me or everybody has it too?
same from here.
Yeah.
Same.
Bad quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know if I can do something. I'm gonna try to make it bigger. But this is strange because why for example, the website, you can see it.
No, we have the same for your navigation bar in the operation system. Can you just make it smaller? Like last time you made it smaller, it was better.
Okay, try like this.
Yes, you need the pin. The pin is 4909114. You have to type in the pin because there are many games running all at the same time. No, it's the same.
You go to kahoot.it, the font isn't clear.
Yeah. I send you a picture in the WhatsApp.
Let me see. I have so many windows here to get to my.
Go to Kahoot, KAHOOT.it, and there you have to press join the game, and you will be asked two things: a pin and your nickname, just any name. That's it.
Let's try to change the size, so maybe.
Can you close all the rest of the windows, other windows? Are you using your monitor or laptop display?
The monitor.
It has a really high resolution. Just move to.
No, not mine. It's not a high resolution. I'm gonna close things here. See.
Close YouTube. Yeah, now it's better.
Okay. That's a classic, right? Closing stuff helps. So we have 13 people. Do you? So the quality is good enough to play?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start because I don't want this to get too late.
Yes.
So everybody ready? Yeah, much better. Nice. So I'm gonna start. Okay. Remember, you see the question and the answer on the screen here on the Zoom. And then you have to click on your own computer or Android. Two mandatory things you have to choose when creating a measurement. You have origin and type, layer and destination, beginning and end, target and type. Yeah, I see answers coming in. Only 6, 9, okay. You see on the left part how much time remains. 3, 2, 1, time. Target and type. Nice. 10 people answered correctly. Two things to know. One is the faster you answer, the more points you get. So probably H answered the fastest one. And also if you do several answers in a row, correct answers in a row, you also get more points. Okay. So everybody ready for the next one? Okay, let's move on. What is not a RIPE Atlas measurement type? Remember, we have different types of measurements. The answers are packet size, ping, DNS, and trace route. Which one do you think is the not measurement? You cannot use it on RIPE Atlas. I see 16 answer already. Okay, time. Packet size, that's right. Remember, we have ping, traceroute, DNS, SSL, HTTP, and NTP. Yeah, those are the 6 ones. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so is on the top now. It's going up half, and Brigadier Will is here with us. Next one. how can you not create a measurement? We have API compatible, via command line interface, via the web interface, or doing SSH into a probe. Let's see if you have good memory, because we saw this question before. Yeah?
Who has the fastest internet?
Let's see how it goes. Time. Yeah, that's correct. Remember, Alexandra explained to you that the probes and the anchors are in one side and the users are in another one, and they only connect to the core of the system. Nobody SSH into a probe or an anchor. Yeah. So most of you did right. Yeah, half is in the top now. Good. Let's go to the next one. What do you need to create a RIPE Atlas measurement? Could be a RIPE NCC membership, credits, reputation, or money. Yeah, what do you need? I think this is an easy one, huh? You answer fast so you get more points. Your reputation could be important, you know, you should be well known in the community. Maybe not.
Oh yeah, sorry for people who are watching us on YouTube.
Yeah, sorry for people in YouTube. There must be probably 10-20 seconds delay for you. Yeah, there is not much we can do about that. Sorry for that. The right answer here is credits. Remember, you need credits. Membership is being a member of the NCC. That means becoming an LER and paying an annual fee, etc. You don't really need that. This is open to anybody out there. As long as they have credits, they can create measurements. Yep. And you can get measurements. One way is installing a software probe, remember.
But you cannot buy them. And the good thing, you cannot go below 0. It's not like real credit system.
So is almost on fire. Be careful there. Next one. Do you have to use your own probe to create a measurement? Remember, you have your own probe. Imagine. Do you need a probe to create your measurement? No, can be an option. You can use others, but only if you use your probe too. Yes, or not if you log in with someone else's Access account. Which one do you think is the correct answer here? This could be a tricky one, but I think we explained that. No, that's the right one. Yeah, you don't need your own probe to create a measurement. You can have credits, create the measurement, or you can create measurement without using your probe. Yeah, of course, you can use any probe available on the system. So no is the right answer. Well, no changes in the classification. Half is on top. Let's go to the next one. Do you have to log in with your RIPE NCC Access account to create a measurement? Options are no, yes, only if you are not an LER, so as a member of the RIPE NCC, only for HTTPS measurements. Which one do you think is the right one here? Is it yes? Remember, to see my Atlas, you have to be logged in with your Access account. Then you have the option in the menu, and then you go there, and you will be able to create the measurement. Yep.
I think it's more about no. People say no is when you can use API and you don't need to know API key.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. This is taking into account like using the web interface mostly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. Brigadier is on top now. A big fight on top. Let's go to the next one. How do you identify yourself when you create a measurement with the command line interface? We explained this. Remember, I explained you and I show you an example. Using the CLI tool, options are with your Access account, with your API key, with your LAR portal account, or with your ID? Which one do you think is the correct answer here? And time. With your API key. Remember, I created on the web interface an API key, and then I copied the UUID and I put it on the CLI tool to give me access to my credits to create measurements, for example. Yeah.
No, there is something. You cannot use your login and password when you're using CLI API. It's not safe.
No, but it's not even possible, right? Not the access account.
So it's by design.
Next one, is only the one that can use. What does active measurement mean?
Well,
the measurement devices are always on. You create what you measure. You measure very often, or you are proactive in measuring what is needed. Which one is the right one? Somebody's asking on the chat your ID. Well, ID could be, your passport or your national ID or any other document. For the CLI, the only right one is the API key. Is the only way that is allowed. Is by design, as Alexandra said. The right answer here, you create what you measure. So you actively start the measurement from the probe, right? You create the request, and then you answer you measure the answer time, and then you generate the results. Yeah. So this is the right answer. Let's see if there is changes. No, only Ducky went up. Let's go to the next one. What is RIPE Atlas? Worldwide Live BGP routing database, or the largest internet measurement network, or the best network traffic monitoring system, or an old guy carrying the world on his shoulders? Which one do you think is the right answer? Yeah, this was explained at the beginning of the session today. 3, 2, 1, and time. Yeah, the largest internet measurement network. Well done. Yeah, almost all of you. Well, the best networking traffic monitoring system, I would say that's not so wrong.
Well, Alvaro, there is a word traffic. We're not measuring traffic.
Okay, that's right. So that's the tricky one. Brigadier Will is on top. Let's go to the next one. How can you not earn credits for measurements? How not? Okay, earn credits by getting it transferred from a friend, by being an LAR, by buying them probe, which is not a way of earning credits. Yeah, the answers are coming in. By buying them. Yeah, you can get them transferred from a friend. Well, if the guy hasn't credited your friend, you are lucky, but it can be done.
I have a friend who shared it.
An LAR can also receive 1 million credits per month, or hosting a probe. Of course, you also get credits, but you can't buy them. Yeah, that's not allowed. There is no way of doing that. Brigadier Will is still on top. Let's go to the last question. Yeah, let's see what happens. Measuring latency from 25 locations to 30 locations. How many measurements to create? Yeah. This is a nice one.
Yeah, so technically you have 25 servers you're curious about.
No, you have
30.
You have 30 servers or locations.
Yeah.
You are curious about, and you want to measure from 25 locations.
25 probes, so you have to choose 25 probes around the world and ask them to ping 30 servers.
How many measurements? 30. That's the right one. Yeah. As Alexander says, 30 targets requires 30 measurements. How many origin, how many places you run, how many probes you start the measurement from? is independent. You can select that different numbers for each measurement, right? So it's 30 is the right one. Wow, we got like a very even distribution here. Let's see what happened. Let's see the podium. Third place for Daki. Well done. Second place for H. And the winner is, I'm thinking of, yeah, Brigadier Will won. Okay, well done, guys. Thank you. Just to finish, I'm gonna show the last slides I have ready here. Give me 1 sec. I have too many windows. I want to show you also resources that are free for everybody. We have in RIPE-NCC a website, academy.ripe.net, where we have training courses that you can access freely, you and anybody you know in the company or friends or family, even using your Access account. Right now, we have a basic IPv6 course and a RIPE database course, but we are working hard to add more courses. We are in the next months going to update the IPv6 and add an IPv6 security one. There is also work being done to add measurements and tools course that includes RIPE Atlas and RIPEStat, and also a BGP one. So keep an eye on this and look for new courses coming in. We also have a certified professionals program. You can get there to this URL and you can register for a certification. Our members get free vouchers. We also collaborate with some entities and academies, so maybe you also can get a voucher for this. If not, you may have to pay. Prices are not really expensive. Well, depends on your standards. It's depending on the level, could be around, I think, 100 euros, 90 euros to up to 160, 160 or something like that. You can take a look and maybe you're interested or maybe your company is interested, you get certified. Also, please, I would like if you can help us improve our sessions and materials. It's nice to have feedback from other places, other communities, SdNOG or people in Sudan or Chad. So please go to this URL and fill in the form. It's not a long time, just few minutes, so we can know what do you think about our materials. I'm gonna put also the link on the chat so you can have it there, okay? So this is all I have from my side. I think I can pass the mic to Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. So far, no questions now.
If there are questions or, you know, the material, but also if you want to know more about specific topic, you want to know the contact for something you find interesting, yes, please put on the chat and we can give you a contact information. I think also the people in SdNOG is doing a really good job helping us with Atlas, and so they can also be a good contact point that is locally available.
Yes. Okay, we have a survey for this webinar. Please, for those who attended the webinar today and yesterday webinar as well, proceed to that URL to fill up the survey. It will take about maybe 1 minute. I think no more questions.
Yeah, that's the other survey.
Okay. For those who are asking about the material to be available in our wiki, the URL already shared by Sarah in the chat room.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for you, Sasha and Alvaro from RIPE-NCC.
Thank you.
Afrinic for the supporters, and INX for those who are interested for more, looking for more information about the topic. They can email, they can contact SdNOG, or they can send in the mailing list, or can contact directly RIPE-NCC.
Yep.
Yes, they can send to info@sdnog.sd.
Yep. Thank you for organizing, and nice to help here, and see you next time.
See you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
See
Thank you, Sasha.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was really interesting, and
Very
I think you
interesting.
enjoy it.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Have a good day or rest of the day or night.
You too.
So it's only 1 hour difference. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.